This is QTV News. I am Marietu Sidibe and thanks for joining us. First, the main local and international news headlines. In local news, a National Health Emergency Committee is launched by the Ministry of Health as an emergency measure for coordinated preparedness and prevention of coronavirus in the Gambia. At the TRRC on Monday, Philipe Saine tells the Commission that Christians were humiliated and suppressed during Yahya Jammeh's rule. A reunion at the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry as its former presidents and chief executive officers held a consultative forum. Hope Through Clothes charity through Khadija Foundation donate items to madrasas, mosques and health centers. In international news, Africa's first drone academy takes flight in Malawi. And now the local news in detail. Welcome and thanks for joining us. And now the local news in detail. A National Health Emergency Committee was launched on Monday by the Ministry of Health as an emergency measure for coordinated preparedness and prevention of coronavirus in the Gambia. QTV's Momodu Lamin Choi was at the event, and this is his report.
Declared a global health emergency by WHO, the coronavirus continues to spread while health authorities are searching for solutions to the deadly virus. Stakeholders in the health sector, non-governmental organizations, including security agencies, are gathered at this inaugural meeting of the National Health Emergency Committee. The ministry is launching this committee as a coordinated effort for preparedness, preventive and control mechanism for response to the novel coronavirus outbreak that has raised international concern. The National Health Emergency Committee not only comprises health officials and other state institutions, but also non-governmental organizations like WHO, UNICEF, UNDP, and MRC. The Ministry of Health has identified 9 border posts in the Gambia, which it says will be used for surveillance and screening of people coming into the country. Surveillance systems are to be intensified at borders. However, surveillance technologies like the thermographic camera at the airport might not be always efficient and reliable. Sana Sambu, the coordinator of epidemiology and disease control, calls for more awareness raising in communities as preventive measures.
Let's not be baffled by the fact that screening people at the airport is not 100% efficient, in the sense that the camera can detect fever. But what will happen if you have not developed any fever, you are not developing any fever? You may cross the border to come into the community.
While the ministry takes precautionary measures, we asked the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmadu Samate, about Gambia's level of preparedness. Dr. Samate calls for calm, assuring the general public that logistics and resources are being mobilized in case of any suspected or confirmed cases of coronavirus in the Gambia.
Vigilance, working hard together with the communities will help us with our resources. Of course, you know our resources are limited, but with the commitment of our people in our health facilities, with the commitment of the Gambians to make sure that this disease doesn't come here and it doesn't spread here, and the commitment of partners, certainly government will be able to do a lot, inshallah.
As the coronavirus spread to countries beyond China, no confirmed cases have been reported in the Gambia, but information from the inaugural meeting is that there are suspected cases currently going through surveillance. The suspected cases include 2 Gambian students and 1 Chinese national. The move is part of preventive steps to avoid the outbreak entering and spreading unnoticed in the Gambia. The World Health Organization's country representative, Dr. Desta A. Tirune, says WHO has technical supports to offer to the Gambia government.
WHO is a technical organization which is mandated in this area of health and will be by the government side to support whatever is necessary technically, and if necessary also any financial or logistic support that's needed by government. Ourselves, together with other partners within the UN agencies and even outside the UN agencies, will be working together with others to support the government to make sure that this preparedness is strong enough to contain in case we have any imported case in the country.
the Public Utility Regulatory Authority has secured an emergency contact number and handed phones to the Health Ministry. Members of the public can call 1025 for information about the coronavirus without any charges. Mahmoud Lamin Choi for QTV News.
The Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission on Monday continued to hear from religious leaders. Philipe Saine tells the commission that Christians were humiliated and suppressed during Yahya Jammeh's rule. Babukar C tells us more.
A public health officer by profession, Mr. Philipe Saine told the commission that the Gambia has always been known for being a country of religious tolerance since pre-colonial time, the First Republic, and even in the Second Republic before Yahya Jammeh changed the narratives in the later part of his regime. Mr. Saine explained the challenges Christians face, from land seizures, dismantling of churches, introduction of the veils, and most notably the proclamation that the Gambia is an Islamic state. According to Mr. Saine, the coming of Dr. Zakir Naik to the Gambia was meant to propagate hatred between the Muslims and Christians. He accused Dr. Zakir of claiming to know the Bible more than the Pope. Saine further says that Dr. Zakir Naik's way of preaching against other religions has made his own country exile him and other countries also ban him.
If such a student, whom you know even in his country of birth, they don't want him because of the same attitude, and Canada and UK refused him entry, and Gambia honors him and gave him even a diplomatic passport and showered him with millions of dollars and gave him red carpet on arrival.
To come and upset the religious harmony that we had in Gambian society.
So these were all events, one at a time. It has a cumulative effect.
Philipe Saine said barely 1 year after the coming of Zakir Naik to the Gambia, Yahya Jammeh declared the Gambia an Islamic state. The declaration, he said, led to the announcement of wearing veils by the civil servants.
The connection of people in the Gambia is intricate, very delicate, and has gone very deep. The people who influenced Yahya, Zakir Naik, he was the one who came first. All his pronouncement, Yahya followed and made similar pronouncement. Because we are the majority. That was what Zakir was preaching here. They follow each other. In fact, I would say Yahya became a disciple of Zakir.
Mr. Saine also explained to the commission that another executive order was passed to stop the registration of new churches and ordered existing churches to re-register. He said Jammeh's attitude prompted the Christian community to organize a national prayer session at the Independence Stadium, which brought together all Christians under one umbrella to pray for the Lord's intervention. He went further to talk about another executive order from State House dated June the 16th, when Christians were asked to stop burying the dead at the Banjul cemetery with the excuse that the cemetery was full. After a survey was conducted by Physical Planning, it became clear that the cemetery is far from being full. Babukar C, QTV News.
The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry on Monday held a consultative meeting with its former presidents and chief executive officers in preparation for their forthcoming annual general meeting set for April 2020. Amadou Oba attended the meeting and he now reports.
The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry Consultative Knowledge Sharing Forum with ex-presidents provide an opportunity to discuss and understand the challenges faced over the past years and to provide vital business services and opportunities to its members. The meeting also intends to create an atmosphere of opportunities where young Gambian entrepreneurs can be celebrated. Idrissa Mas Job, president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, says the convergence will avail him and his executives the opportunity to share experiences for continuity in the country's business sector.
Big and champions in the Gambia are no more. In the same period, we have observed that in our neighboring countries all over the world, businesses that were big have become global brands.
Mr. Job further explains how his executive intends to use the democratic dispensation at the advantage of growing business in the country to reach the global industry.
Also is to be able to structure ourselves and exploit the new opportunities, not only present in the new democracy, but the new opportunities presented by the extractive industries, the new opportunities presented by a globalized world. That's brought the purpose, and we will look at not only our membership and the environment they do business, we will also look at the chamber and see whether our mandate is still befitting, whether our mandate is still apt for the type of both the external and internal environment.
Momodu Jagana, former president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, states that the industries and businesses have faced massive challenges over the past 25 years. He expresses optimism and hope that with a great collaboration between the Chamber and the Gambia government, they would be able to push for more young Gambian businesses and more local content in critical economic sectors.
But you're going to have a country that would prosper without its local indigenous business being participants and key providers of economic activity. We do hope that the message that President Job is trying to put together by bringing this committee together would be used as a catalyst for government to look back at what is wrong with our economy. How come we cannot have a 50-year-old company? How come we cannot have a 100-year-old company? How do we set the foundation stone today so that indigenous Gambian businesses will in 25, 30, 50 years be celebrated?
The consultative discussion came less than 2 months to the 14th edition of the Trade Fair Gambia International, which is set for the 21st of March to the 12th of April 2020. Other speakers include former president of the Chamber, Charbel El Haj, Aliou Mboj, Abdoulaye Touré and Baye Matar Dramé, and former CEOs Keban Jai and Almame Funding Tal. Also present were current CEO Aliou Seka and Deputy CEO Sarata Konate, who all welcomed the initiative. The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry membership is composed of companies from all sectors of the Gambian business community. It is also a member of the Federation of West African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Federation of West African Employers Association, Pan-African Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and World Chambers Federation. For QTV News, I am Amadou Obah.
Hope Through Clothes, a charitable organization in Canada, over the weekend donated wheelchairs, clothes, Holy Qur'ans and other materials to madrasas and mosques and health centers in West Coast, Lower River and Central River regions. The donation was made through Khadija Foundation in the Gambia. This story is by Lamin Dabo and narrated by Bintu Koka.
The donated items includes 92 bales of used clothing, 48 praying mats, 70 wheelchairs, 55 walking canes, 100 crutches, blankets, bicycles, suitcases full of the Holy Quran, amongst others. The Village Development Committee chairman of Mandinari Village, Jammeh Cisse, says the donation is highly welcomed and will surely benefit the communities.
The community of Mandinari, almost 7 Arabic schools and the individual organizations have been beneficiaries of this. The VDC in the area of health, whereby we are able to get some health materials that will be later presented to the village health center. And then other community leaders too, and the community mosque have also benefited, more especially our central mosque and the imam of the central mosque. Indeed, this is a very, very, very laudable contribution towards the socio-economic development of this community of Mandinari. And I would like to thank Mr. Jabi, who is the representative of the Khadija Foundation here in Mandinari, for this wonderful gesture.
Abdoulaye Fatajo, a representative of Brufut Nema Central Mosque, says as beneficiaries, they are delighted.
We need assistance for our mosque because all our carpets are in a bad state. By the grace of Allah, Hope Through Clothes through Khadija Foundation has come to our aid. We are very happy.
The Vice Chairman of Khadija Foundation, Mohammed F. Jabi, expresses delight in the way the items were distributed to the beneficiaries. He further explains the Foundation's plans for the future.
The beauty part of this donation is given to the people who need it. All the items, we cannot even call them second-hand materials. They are materials that are apt. And we know the donation, the people that have even requested for all these materials, we can't maybe fulfill all. But in fact, according to the chairperson of the foundation in Canada, they want to do this annually. Our trustee and founder, Faisal Saman in UK, is planning to change this place and build it as a college. So it will be bilingual and it will have a college component. We must thank the Hope True Clothes Foundation in Canada that the people really need these things. And in fact, if they can do it 2 times or 3 times in a year, the people of the Gambia will be appreciative of.
Khadija Foundation has set up Khadija Center for Educational Institute in Mandinari. The institute hosts a bilingual school and a mosque, and all the students are on full scholarships. Bintu Koka, QTV News.
We will go with a short commercial break, and when we return, we hear about the Gambia's preparedness to use drones as an early warning system for disasters. Also, we hear about Africa's first drone academy is taking flight in Malawi. Join us after the break for these stories and more.
Oh yes! QCell has exhausted the number 3 series, the 50, 51, 52 and 53 number series. We are expanding and introducing another new number series starting with 58 and 59. With the 58 and 59 numbers, you can call any QCell number for the same on-net charges. You get the same great service at the exact same charges offered to numbers in the 3, 50, 51, 52 and 53 series. The family is even bigger now. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, we innovate, others follow.
Welcome back. The Director General of National Disaster Management Agency, Sana Dahaba, has disclosed that the Gambia is in the final stage of preparations to use drones as an early warning system. Mr. Dahaba made these remarks during a multi-stakeholders forum on disasters risk assessment held in Mombasa, Kenya. Our reporter, Jainaba Sonko, attended the forum, and this is her report.
2 years ago, disaster management authorities of 16 countries, the United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction and the CIMA Research Foundation developed country disaster risk profiles, which provides a comprehensive view of hazard, risk and uncertainties for floods and droughts in a changing climate and socio-economic situation projected over the next 50 years.
If you look at it globally, disaster is increasing in terms of its magnitude and frequency. And then the United Nations, in collaboration with these stakeholders, recognize that. So this is why this event is organized to look at the risk information system by various stakeholders so that the respective governments can make best use of this risk information system.
Mr. Dahaba further revealed that the Gambia will start using drones as an early warning system as part of Priority 4 of the Sendai Framework.
The procurement process for the drone is ongoing. It will be supported by UNESCO. We have a project called India UNESCO Development Partnership, which are funding the drone.
A country like Cambodia, where frequent cycle of floods, droughts, and intensive storms destroyed people's livelihoods and developmental gains, drones have helped in limiting disaster impacts. Monitoring and Evaluation Officer of the National Disaster Management Agency in the Gambia and focal point for the Sendai Framework, United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction, Kausu Barrow is a participant on country disaster risk profiles training.
The training actually is helping us to do a forecasting. What we do also, we assess the current status and the future trends of disasters that are actually happening, particularly in agriculture, if drought, flooding as well, affecting our schools, hospitals as well.
Participants will now evaluate the different experiences from Angola, Zambia and Tanzania, which were used as a case study in developing and endorsing problematic disaster risk profiles, sharing lessons learned and agreeing to a way forward for the use of risk profiles. Reporting for QTV News from Mombasa, Kenya, I am Jera Wasonko.
In international news, Malawi is host to the first Drone and Data Academy in Africa. The first class of students from across the continent is learning to make and fly the pilotless aircraft, which will be used to deliver medical supplies, monitor crops and map disease outbreaks. With support from the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, the Academy aims to improve drone technology skills across Africa, beginning with Malawi and neighboring countries, and 150 students are expected to be trained this year. The African Drone and Data Academy's first graduates are expected in March. The Drone Academy has inspired some students. Here to give us the latest sports news is Momodo Gajaga. Gajaga, hope you have something interesting for us today.
Yes, indeed, definitely. We start with women's football. The Gambia women's under-20 national team crashed out of the women's FIFA World Cup qualifiers as they drew 0-0 against Burkina Faso at Independence Stadium on Saturday, which marks a 3-2 aggregate win for Burkina Faso, progressing to the next round, where Burkina Faso will play against Nigeria. Well, the Gambia women's team scored a goal that was disallowed in the 3rd minute of second half. Now let's see the goal, and you can judge for yourself whether it was a clear goal or it was an obvious offside. There you see the goal, so you can be the judge yourselves concerning the goal that was scored by the Gambia. After the game, the media spoke to both officials of the Gambia and also officials of the Burkina Faso team. First, let's hear from the Gambia women's under-20 coach, Fodeba.
Like I said earlier on in my previous interviews, this is just developmental. In the midfield, I mean, the players that were supposed to play there, I mean, most of them were injured, some were sick, so we had to bring centre backs. It's very difficult to take a game like this. I mean, you didn't win, we didn't proceed. We wanted to progress to the next round. We did not. You cannot just train for like 10 days, stop a year, start it again. I mean, we need continuity. And
now to Aminata Sissoko, the trainer of the Burkina Faso women's under-20 team.
I feel good and I'm very happy for this match, and we will prepare for the next step. I am optimist. You're optimistic. I know Nigeria is a great team, but I am positive for the next step. And we come to maintain our supremacy or to have a null with Gambia.
Away from that, now we talk about athletics. Guinea-Bass, the track queen of the Gambia, who, if you could recall, won the 200 meters gold medal at the African Games in Morocco in 2019. This year, she began in a very fantastic way in France. To be precise, she ran the 60 meters in a time of 7.22 seconds in France, and she was very impressed by her performance running the 60 meters for the first time. Let's hear from Guinea-Bass.
Yeah, it was my first event in 60 meters. If I can run 7.2, it's really good for the start. My objective to run 60 meters is to make my start, because that is my problem. I have already qualified, so the best thing to do is to concentrate and be in the final as I do in Doha, and to be the medalist. I believe in myself. If you believe in yourself, you can do it. So I believe in myself, and I know I can do that.
Well, we say big congratulations and wish her good luck as she looks forward to the Olympic Games in Tokyo 2020. That is this year, few months to go. That's all we have for you in the sports. Back to you, Mariatu.
Thank you very much, Gajaga. Keep making us proud, Guinea-Bass. And before we end this bulletin of the news, let's take a quick look at our main stories. In local news, a National Health Emergency Committee was launched by the Ministry of Health as an emergency measure for coordinated preparedness and prevention of coronavirus in the Gambia. At the TRRC on Monday, Philipe Saine tells the Commission that Christians were humiliated and suppressed during Yahya Jammeh's rule. A reunion at the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry as its former presidents and chief executive officers held a consultative forum. Hope Through Clothes, charity through Khadija Foundation, donated items to madrasas, mosques and health centers. In international news, Africa's first drone academy takes flight in Malawi. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.